Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 Local News for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. A former Marine returned to court last week and pled guilty to manslaughter related to a three-car alcohol-induced collision in 2019. Here is reporter Adeline J. Wells with more from the court.
On Wednesday, Gregory Wayne Oldham returned to court for an early disposition hearing before Judge Sarah Oliver. District Attorney Jason Geltzow was present for the prosecution, and Attorney Marcia Brewer represented the conflict panel. In May of 2020, Oldham, then an active duty Marine at the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center in 29 Palms, was arrested and charged with murder and driving under the influence, causing bodily injury or death. He initially entered a plea of not guilty and has remained in custody since. On October 19, 2019, Oldham, then 19, was driving eastbound on 29 Palms Highway, east of Rotary Way, with Lane Nota, an active duty member of the U.S. Navy. According to the district attorney, Oldham was driving at approximately 116 miles per hour and crossed lanes into oncoming traffic, colliding with an Audi carrying 3 Marines en route to the movies. Nota and Menachem Goldblum were killed, and Quinton Johnson and Nicholas Gathright sustained critical, career-ending injuries. The district attorney states that the collision left extensive debris across the highway, including alcohol containers. 2 other individuals were injured when their vehicle collided with the wreckage. Traffic in both directions, across all 4 lanes of the highway, was shut down for approximately 16 hours. The investigation into the collision was led by Detective Shane Crowell of the Sheriff's Department's Major Accident Investigation Team. According to Geltzow, this included obtaining records from the Naval Criminal Investigative Service on Oldham's previous incidents with underage alcohol consumption. The process led to the 7-month delay between the collision and arrest and impacted the charges filed. At the hearing on Wednesday, the courtroom was heavy with emotion as 4 victim statements were read on the record. Statements were submitted by Gathright, his parents, and both Goldie and Arya Goldblum, who had traveled from Chicago to speak on behalf of their late son, whom they called Mendel. Oldham himself addressed the court with his apologies and regret for his decision. He pleaded guilty to 2 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated and 1 count of driving under the influence with a blood alcohol content of over 0.08%, causing bodily injury, with 5 enhancements related to bodily injury. Gregory Wayne Oldham was sentenced to 20 years in California State Prison, with credit for 2,415 days served. Reporting for Z107.7 News, this is Adeline J. Wells.
An alleged robbery at Sam's Liquor Store in Joshua Tree led to the arrest of a man on parole for violent crimes. On Saturday morning at around 11:50 a.m., San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies responded to a report of an armed robbery at Sam's Liquor at the intersection of 29 Palms Highway and Halley Road in Joshua Tree. Deputies say an employee at Sam's dialed 911 to report a man who was forcefully stealing merchandise from the store. Deputies responded to the location and identified the suspect as James Pope, 35. Pope was found to be out of prison on post-release community supervision for charges related to domestic violence. Deputies located Pope at around 2:30 p.m. near the intersection of Barron Drive and Ruth Drive in Yucca Valley and took him into custody. They did not indicate what was stolen from Sam's or if any of the allegedly stolen merchandise was recovered. James Pope was arrested on suspicion of robbery and violating parole. He is being held at the West Valley Detention Center without bail. The Joshua Basin Water District Board of Directors meets in regular session on Wednesday afternoon. On their agenda is a report of the district's public outreach efforts. The board is also expected to approve their check register and deal with unclaimed money. The Joshua Basin Water District Board of Directors meets tomorrow at 5 p.m. at their district office at 61750 Choita Road in Joshua Tree. You can find a link to their full agenda along with instructions to attend remotely by visiting our website, Z107.7 FM.com. The High Desert Water District Board of Directors' regularly scheduled meeting for tomorrow has been canceled. The board will meet next in regular session on March 18th. Volunteering is good for the organization and good for the volunteer. If you have some extra time and energy and love the outdoors, online news editor Robert Hayden has your next volunteering opportunity.
The Mojave Desert Land Trust, or MDLT, is holding a volunteer orientation event on Thursday, March 26th, beginning at 11 a.m. Volunteering for the Land Trust is a simple process, and it may give you access to lands, projects, and people you didn't have access to before. And the projects you can put your energy toward range from land cleanup and stewardship to seed cleaning and native nursery work. I recently attended the last volunteer orientation at MDLT headquarters right here in Joshua Tree. I got to meet a couple dozen desert dwellers who already had overlapping interests with me and caught up with a few folks that I already knew. And then we headed straight out and tackled invasive mustards off Highway 62. I also got to tour the seed room and check out the gear that plant technicians and volunteers use to clean, inspect, and store native seeds for their use in habitat restoration and plant propagation. You also get behind-the-scenes tours of their native plant gardens and greenhouses, which should be a pretty inspiring sight as we head into spring. Your volunteering can take you outside of the Joshua Tree area as well. While the MDLT has lots of local land in the basin, their land stewardship continues to open up new areas that need rehabilitation. For instance, the Rock Springs Ranch out near Apple Valley is a fairly new acquisition, which is getting a second volunteer day this month. And on March 12th, the 1,600-acre Palisades Ranch Preserve will have a full-day bio-blitz where volunteers can explore the preserve and the riparian habitat and participate in community science by helping count insects and bats as evening settles in. To participate in any of these activities, you have to go through the orientation, so save the date. The next one is taking place on Thursday, March 26th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll have links at our website to sign up, or you can visit www.mdlt.org/volunteer. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
The Creative Cafe returns this week with a day of paper folding art. It's a weekly drop-in art session hosted by local artist Jillian Sandell. This week, the focus is on paper folding art, like fortune tellers, Turkish maps, and some origami. Wednesday's session runs from noon to 2 p.m. at the Food for Thought Cafe in Joshua Tree Retreat Center. Reservations are not required, but donations are suggested. The Creative Cafe is open to all ages and skill levels. The California Welcome Center in Yucca Valley is seeking applicants for their 8th annual art exhibit. The call is open to artists throughout the state of California, and those selected by the judges will be displayed at the California Welcome Center for 12 months. Awards will be presented by judges in the categories of painting, photography, mixed media, and people's choice. Entries are $30 each, and each artist is limited to 5 total entries. You can submit artwork and learn more at a link at this story at Z107.7fm.com or visit CaliforniaWelcomeCenter.com. And finally, the Morongo Basin Rotary Clubs are honoring the 25th anniversary of Copper Mountain College at a ceremony this Saturday. Copper Mountain College is located on a Rotary Way in Joshua Tree, and the history of the school and local service clubs are deeply entwined. That connection will be celebrated at an event called Past, Present, and Future of Community. The event will honor the collaboration between local Rotary clubs and the founding and continued success of Copper Mountain College. During the program, you'll hear from Rotarians who were part of the college's early days, as well as reflections on where the next 25 years will take them. Speakers include Chris Frazier, who will discuss the initial fundraising for the college, Liz Meyer, who will share the period where CMC established its independence, and Brian Benton, CMC's construction trades faculty member. The ceremony will be capped off by a presentation from the school's president and superintendent, Dr. Darren Otten, also a Joshua Tree Rotarian. Sandy Smith, a 29 Palms Rotarian and the executive director of the CMC Foundation, said, quote, Copper Mountain College and Rotary are so interwoven in the Morongo Basin that it's only fitting we celebrate together. The stories are rich and the company is perfect for a Saturday evening out. I hope community members will join us in learning more about why it's called Rotary Way. The event is open to all Rotarians as well as members of the public. It's happening this Saturday at 5 p.m. at the community room of the Bell Center at Copper Mountain College, located at 6162 Rotary Way in Joshua Tree. Tickets are $35 and can be purchased in advance at a link in this story at Z107.7fm.com. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.